Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Vidhiyate. Okay.
Namaskaram to everyone.
Namaste. Namaste. So I unmuted Mohini, Prasad, and him. Are you okay to unmute?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Sushupti Avastha, which I think is 132, no? Sushupti.
Yeah. 132.
Okay. So, Tataha. Mohini, you want to repeat?
Okay. Tataha
Sushuptyavastha ka
Shushuptyavastha ka
aham kimapi na janami.
Aham kimapi na janami.
Yeah, everybody can mute themselves. Sukhena
Sukhena
maya
Maya
nidranubhuyate
Nidranubhuyate
iti
Iti
sushuptyavastha.
Sushuptyavastha.
Okay. Prasad and him unmute themselves. So, Atma kaha avasthatraya sakshi, and so that is where we are. Avasthatrayam kim, and then Jagrad avastha, Swapna avastha, Sushupti avastha. Sushupti avastha ka, what is dream state? I mean, what is deep sleep state? So there is some noise coming, no? There must be. So let me mute all of you. Okay, Mohini, unmute yourself. Any noise now? No. Prasad? Okay. So is there any noise now?
No.
Apparently not. Okay. Okay. So him, it might be. Oh, so there is a noise now. Could be from Prasad's side, huh? Let's Prasad go ahead and mute, and him, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this for a while. Let's see. So in this deep sleep state, aham kimapi na janami. So after waking up, the person says, I did not know anything. And sukhena maya nidra anubhuyate. I slept well. So that experience is called Sushupti Avastha. There is no vikalpa. There is absolutely no thought whatsoever. And that is the way the author has described Sushupti Avastha. So the question now becomes, why are we studying about Avasthatrayam? So here, there is the waker, there is the dreamer, there is the sleeper, if you want to call it that. These are the three roles I play at any given time of my day, any given time of my life. These are the only three states possible. So, by analyzing these three states, we can ask the question, am I waker, am I sleeper, or am I dreamer? This is the question. That is called the prakriya. It is actually becoming a methodology. So there is something called Avasthatraya Prakriya. Different methodologies to appreciate the nature of Atma. One of the methodologies is Avasthatraya Prakriya, analysis of the three states of experience. So when we analyze it, we say that, hey, I'm going through these three different states. Therefore, I cannot be any of the states. All these states are, of course, Atma. But Atma is not any one of those states. So when we say waker, dreamer, and sleeper, that ER at the end of the word, that ER is the Atma. If you think about it, the ER must be the Atma. That which does not change in any of these three states, that which always is in these states must be the Atma. And you can extend that discussion to other roles that you play. Walker, talker, runner. You say anything. Don't say cooker. We have to say cook. So their ear is not there. That's beautiful. That's English. It's because of English. So, okay. So this ER that comes in these words is the Atma. So waker is Atma. Sleeper is Atma. Dreamer is Atma. But Atma is not any of these three. We can say roles. We don't get up and say, now I've woken up, I'm going to play the role of a waker. Like that, we don't make a statement, and we often don't use the word waker also. Father, mother, all these things we can say. But waker we don't use as a role. Okay, you can say role, a mega role, a super role, or a state of experience. Okay. So here just by the way, we make a point here. We say that, even in the Shastram it is said, in Mandukya Upanishad, this Atma is none of these states, but it is a fourth state. You may have heard about Turiya Atma. Turiya Atma. So it's very popular. It is said that. Turiya Avastha. Turiya Avastha. So we have to be careful here. See, when we have said that only 3 states of experience are possible, there can't be a 4th state. Then how can Atma be allotted a 4th state? Atma is always there. Where is the question of another state? We are trying to appreciate Atma that is there in all states of experience. So, what we have to be careful to note there is that the Turiya Avastha is meant to take our attention away from the Mithya, that is the waking state, the Mithya, that is the dream state. And the Turiya Avastha is a way of saying that Atma, that consciousness which pervades this Avastha Trayam, these 3 states of experience, is Atma. Otherwise, what will happen? Atma is a separate state. Oh, it's not a waking state. Therefore, I must move away. I must remove the waking state. I must remove the dream state. I must remove the sleep state. And I must go into a state. Only then, and that state, Atma will emerge out. Atma did not emerge. And Atma is not hiding also. So if Atma is hiding, then what is the use of studying all this? Atma is also hiding and I want to hide like Atma. So that idea we need to give up. Okay, just by the way, that's a big topic. We'll come later in Mandukya Upanishad. Okay. So, Sushupti Avastha, Avasthatraya Prakriya, and Atma is Avasthatraya Sakshi. Then here he makes another statement. We can, all of you can mute except Prasadji and repeat after me. We are going to chant the next one, 134. Karana Sharirabhimani.
Karana Sharirabhi. More. I could not hear you.
Karana Sharira.
Karana Sharira.
Abhimani.
Abhimani.
Atma.
Atma.
Prajnaha.
Prajnaha.
Ityuchyate.
Ityuchyate.
So here the author is saying Karana Sharirabhimani Atma Prajnaha Ityuchyate. That person who identifies with the Karana Shariram is called Prajnaha. Making a statement. So we saw earlier that Sthula Sharirabhimani Vishwaha Ityuchyate. So the one who identifies with this physical body. So in waking state, the person identifies with the physical body, which includes identification with the Sukshma Sharira and Karana Sharira. Then in dream state, no identification with Sthulam, but identification with Sukshmam, somewhat part of the Sukshmam, and Karana Shariram. And here in deep sleep, Sthula Shariram given up, or at least identification given up. Sukshma Shariram identification given up. So what remains is identification with Karana Shariram. Is there any noise coming from my side? Audio?
Yeah.
When I speak or even when I'm silent?
Even when you're silent.
So these birds are chirping outside.
I think it's the same thing. It's a squirrel.
So morning time, all kinds of hens and birds and all these things are. So you want me to close the door?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
It's not bothering much.
Yeah, so at least we know that that beep is not the feedback beep. Okay. If it echoes, then we can try to close these doors. The door in this room and those other two doors. Yeah. So, in waking state, when I say I am ignorant, I do make a statement. I do acknowledge. I can acknowledge that I am ignorant of many things, and I am ignorant about myself also. So in a waking state, this person is called Ajnaha. Ajnaha. Ajnaha means Ajnani. I am ignorant. Just a simple statement. But in deep sleep, even that conclusion is not there that I am ignorant. Obviously, that conclusion, there is no way of making a conclusion because the mind also is not operating. So, the Shastram gives a name called Prajna for that. Prakarshena Ajnaha. So, even the ability to conclude is not there in deep sleep state. Therefore, Shastram gives a name Prajna. That's all about it. Now, this is why there is a popular statement that in deep sleep, the king and the beggar are the same. The Maharaja Donald Trump doesn't know I am the president of America. I am the president of the greatest country in the world. I am the guy people listen to. He thinks people listen to him. That's a different story. But so Donald Trump. So, but Donald Trump goes to sleep and this homeless guy goes to sleep. Both are identical. Both experiences are identical. Think about that. Can it even be possible? Two different people like this, they have identical experiences. So that is why they say, yes, these two experiences during the Sushupti Avastha are identical. There is a big scholar and he says, I know all the Shastram, I know all the Upanishads, I know all the Bhagavad Gita, and I know all the Shankara's commentaries, Ramanuja's commentaries, Sri Bhashyam, everything I know. And that person goes to sleep. And this baby goes to sleep. Shishuhu Panditaha. Both are identical in deep sleep. Like this, there is a beautiful saying. And so Prajna, both experiences are identical. So therefore, we don't have to complain so much. Oh, I don't know. I missed out so much. I wish I had studied all this when I was, whatever, 10 years ago. All this, so much we don't have to complain because there is a time when all of us are identical. Okay. So that is why they say Prajnaha. These jivas are all identical. They have identical experience in Sushupti Avastha. So now, there is an identification with the Avastha, with the waking state, etc. So we now introduce a word called Upadhihi. Upadhihi. Upadhi is that which brings about a seeming change in something. Upadhi is that which brings about a seeming change in something. Or another way to say it is, Upadhi is that which seemingly conditions something. This Jagrad Avastha apparently seems to condition Atma. Apparently we have to add, because Atma is not conditioned by anything. Atma is unaffected by the sleep state or waking state. But apparently I take myself to be this Avastha, this Sthula Shariram, etc. Therefore, this Sthula Shariram is called an Upadhi. This Jagrad Avastha also can be called as an Upadhi. Often we refer to Sthula Shariram as an Upadhi. So like you imagine a colorless crystal, a glass tumbler, nice, beautiful, colorless, new crystal is there on the table. And now, the table is covered with red cloth. And therefore, when you look at this crystal, the crystal looks red. It looks completely red. You can mistake it to be a red crystal. Correct? So that red cloth on the table, just jet red cloth on the table is the Upadhi for the crystal to be red, to appear red. Okay, that is a way to look at it. Or there is a hibiscus flower next to the crystal. Red color, hibiscus color, how amazing it is. We have a plant out here, 2-3 plants which are every morning just blooms with so many flowers. And it has only 4 or 5 petals and big petals red in color. Keep that flower next to the crystal will appear red. So then that hibiscus flower is the Upadhi for the crystal to appear red. Okay, in this example though, the flower is separate from the crystal. The cloth is separate from the crystal. Even then we say the flower is the Upadhi. But in the case of this body, the body and Atma are not separate. So that's also all right. So still we say Sthula Shariram is the Upadhi for Atma. So Upadhi definition still holds. The example we give just to understand what Upadhi means. Upadhi is that which seemingly or apparently conditions something else. I am as though conditioned by the body. That's all. As though we have to add seemingly. Because Atma cannot be conditioned. Crystal is not conditioned. Crystal has not become red. If I assume the crystal is red, then I am making a mistake. I make a mistake. Then somebody comes and says, oh, you must remove the redness from the crystal. Look at that. First mistake is crystal is red. That conclusion is a mistake. Now the second mistake. No, the crystal is not red. You must remove the color from the crystal. Second mistake. Why second mistake? So to appreciate the crystal as colorless, you must remove the red color from the crystal. Suppose somebody says this. Is that a right statement? Hey, when did the crystal become red? Please tell me. That is the question we will ask. If the crystal becomes red, then we will decide whether to remove the red color or not. That we can decide. But the crystal has never become red. It continues to be a colorless crystal. This is just it is appearing like a red crystal. So the question of removing the red color is not there. Same thing with Atma also. Finally, that is what we are saying. It is not necessary to remove the Sthula Shariram in order to appreciate the Nirgunam Atma, the all-pervasive Atma, etc. not needed. So just by the way, just to understand that, it is like somebody saying, oh, you must stop the sun from revolving so that I can appreciate the sun, that the sun is stationary. Hey, no physicist says this, no teacher has ever said something like this. So now we can appreciate the meaning of the word cognitive. When we say Vedanta is cognitive, now we can appreciate. Cognitive means you know very well that the crystal is not red. There is no attempt needed to make the crystal colorless. No attempt needed to remove the color from the crystal. You know very well that I made a mistake. I assume that the crystal is red, but it is only an appearance, and the appearance does not change the nature of the crystal. Cognitive, correct? Only a cognitive appreciation. I say only, but it's a big only, right? It's a very big thing. Very big thing. Good. Just something to remember here. So that methodology we use to appreciate this cognitive nature, we've seen it before. It is called Anvaya Vyatireka. Correct? We saw Anvaya Vyatireka. Anvayam means co-presence, simultaneous presence. Vyatireka means absence. So what is the technique? You just observe the object constantly and see what happens. You observe this crystal, this glass tumbler, keep on observing. When the red cloth is removed, the crystal is not red. Oh. When it is sitting on a brown table, the crystal is brown in color. Oh. You put a yellow cloth on it, then it is yellow in color. Oh. Put a green cloth the next day, it is green in color. Oh. Then you say, wait a minute. This color that you say that belongs to the crystal really does not belong to the crystal. That's all. So co-presence, Anvayam, the color seems to be part of the crystal. Then Vyatireka, absence. Hey, I also see the absence of the color or presence of other colors. Absence of one color, presence of another color. Therefore, by Anvaya Vyatireka, we say that the crystal is colorless. Same technique we apply to Atma. Atma cannot be any one of these three states. Because I see so many states, three states, during the course of my day. Okay. So I can say Atma is not a waker, Atma is not a dreamer, Atma is not a sleeper. So this mistake, when I take Atma to be the Sthula Shariram and therefore the waker, this is the first mistake I make. And from that original first mistake comes all other mistakes. Correct? Comes all other mistakes. Because every attribute of the body, once I take myself to be the body, then every attribute of this body is my attribute. Correct? So I am short, I am tall, I am dark, I am white, I am brown, I am brunette. If I say all these things, that's because of the first mistake I have made. So many mistakes we make in life are not universal. Not at all universal. They're all localized mistakes we make. and we correct those mistakes. Correct? But this mistake is a universal mistake. Because that Atma Jnanam is like that, it is a universal mistake, and therefore a universal mistake is not recognized as a mistake because it is universal. Correct? See, you can recognize a mistake only if it is not universal.
Correct.
See, you go to this place where there are mentally challenged people, and they're all running around, they're laughing, and they are doing things, and we say they are mentally challenged. They look at us and they say we are mentally challenged. So who is mentally challenged? You please tell me. Who is mentally challenged? So we walk around and say, no, they need help. Okay, relatively you can say they need help also. But I also need a lot of help. I don't admit that. And so this is also relative. This is also relative. And so that universal mistake, amazing thing is that nobody appreciates it. Therefore, mistake is never corrected. Therefore, Vedanta can never be popular. Somebody says, why Swamiji, this is fantastic subject. Everybody should know this. Now, this immediately, this desire comes. Everybody should know this. Yeah, everybody can know this. Nobody says everybody should not know this. We don't block. We don't say, oh, this book should not be made available to other people. No, nobody says that. But it will not be popular because of that nature, because universal mistake. And to recognize it's a universal mistake, it requires very something special. This is why we say this is completely, it's our own punyam that makes it happen. Nobody can say, okay, it's like saying, no, do I want to be an engineer or a doctor or a psychologist or a biologist? So some choice apparently it seems to be there, and I make a choice and then I go for it. But we can't say that when it comes to Vedanta. It doesn't work like that. Okay. So error with these three states of experience. And then the Shastram talks about how this error manifests as an error in the same Jagrada Avastha in different levels. A little more finer appreciation. You already know it, but the Shastram formalizes it here. So first mistake is, I am the body. I am the body. Happens because this confined. I happen to be confined to this finite entity. And wherever I go, body goes. Wherever I sit, the body sits. When the body eats, I eat. So all this happens. Therefore, the conclusion is there. You can't escape the conclusion there, and therefore it's a universal mistake. So I am the body is mistake number one, which makes me then say that I am short, I am dark, etc. Very interesting, very interesting. Then I look at a part of a body and say I am blonde. And these words I heard only in America. I didn't hear these words here. I don't think there is a word in India that I don't think based on the color of the hair, they say I am this. That idea is not there. But whatever, still the mistake is a mistake only. So I am as good as this body. First mistake. Second mistake is what? I am hungry. I am thirsty. So those are all, when I say I am associating with the physiological function in the body. Any physiological function you can say. I suppose you can say, I am sick when I say. A mistake, a property of the body, a property of the physiological function is being attributed to Atma. So mistake number 2. Mistake number 3 is what? I am blind. I am short-sighted. So I am blind is a very big thing. So eyes can't see is an objective statement. I am blind means imputing the property of the eyes to Atma. Projecting the property of the eyes to Atma. Another type of mistake. Then all the emotions in my mind. Every emotion I attribute to myself. I am sad. I am agitated. I am disappointed. It's all right to make a statement like that. Nothing wrong with that. Just communicate something. We don't say that's a wrong statement. But we don't stop with the statement. We identify with the mind and take it seriously. And therefore we point out that mistake. And then another type of mistake is, I did this. I am the author of this painting. I am a painter. I am a cook because I did these things. I'm capable of doing and I did it. And profession, the entire profession. I am a doctor. I am an architect. When somebody says, because I'm capable of doing all these things and I did do all these things. And so the doership. So I am a doer. Very big thing. One type of mistake. Then I am the experiencer also. I am the bhokta. Aham bhokta. It's another mistake. So that belongs to the mind, a part of the mind. We sometimes Shastram says ahankaraha. So perhaps you can use the word ego. But ego is overused, so try to avoid using that word much. Ahankara, stick with ahankara. So because the ego means he has a big ego, small ego, and all things happen, and so some confusion can be there. Ahankaraha, beautiful word. Aham karomi iti ahankaraha. The one who says I did is ahankaraha. Or that which says I did is called ahankara. So we assign a particular aspect, a faculty of the mind called ahankara and look at it that way. So that is one mistake. Then finally, the last mistake is I am sukhi, I am dukhi. Even though it's an emotion, still it is carved out as a separate identification. I am ignorant, I am sukhi, I am dukhi. That is an identification. Okay. So we are aware of these things. We've talked about it several times. So based on that context, here the author is going to talk about Pancha Kosha. So let's chant that. So one of you, if you can remain, if everybody can mute themselves, and perhaps Bhagya can repeat, unmute and repeat. So we're going to chant 1.35. Pancha Kosha ke
Panchakoshaha ke
Annamaya
Annamaya
Pranamaya.
Pranamaya
Yeah, everybody can repeat. Manomaya
Manomaya
Vijnanamaya
Vijnanamaya
Anandamayaha
Anandamayaha
Cheti.
Cheti.
Okay. So you can mute yourself, and other 2 or 3 can unmute themselves. So another important concept, Kosha, the concept of a Kosha, Pancha Kosha. Because Atma Kaha Pancha Kosha Ati, the sun was mentioned. So here the detail is being asked. Tell me, what is Pancha Kosha? So there are some popular translations to this word Kosha. So we need to be careful here. Koshaha. Koshavat achadakatvat kosha. So this we have to remember. Very important. Koshavat. Kosha here means a cover. Koshavat, like a cover, like a sheet, like a jacket that covers. Koshavat achadakatvat. Because it covers like a cover. Okay, because it conceals like a cover. Let's put it that way. Because it conceals like a cover, it is called Kosha. Koshavat achadakatvat Kosha. So because it appears to conceal, Koshavat, like a cover. Okay, appears, that important. We have to add this appears, that also should be there. Added. We will appreciate it more. As though covers, therefore called a cover. That is a way to understand it. Okay. So, Kosha means what? A place where a mistake is made is called Kosha. Here, in this context. A place where a mistake is made is called a Kosha. That is the meaning of Kosha. Cover, we said, okay, that will come to. But Kosha here is a place where a mistake is made. Another way to say it is, the locus of a mistake is Kosha. You know, there is a technical word in mathematics and all, they use this word. Physics also, they use the word, I think. Locus, I like that word very much. But for those who are not aware of that word, they may not understand it. So, if you can't follow the word locus, you give it up. You just say, a place where a mistake is made is called Kosha. Okay. What is the meaning of that? So a place where it is made, we already saw it. In the body, I make a mistake. A body is the Sthula Shariram is the place where I make a mistake, on which I make a mistake, on which I project my mistake. Therefore, the body will be called a Kosha. And you can see why we are saying Koshavat, like a cover. Because if somebody says the body covers the Atma, the body covers the Atma, because Atma is inside, you know. You have to go deep and look for Atma. So that idea will come if you say it is a cover. But if it is like a cover, if you say, then you can say, okay, as though Atma is covered, the knowledge of Atma is covered by this Sthula Shariram. Therefore, the word Kosha is used. So how can Atma be covered? You look, suppose I have a scar in my face. I have a scar from some time. I got a scar, and or some recently I got a injury and it's a scar. So every morning before the class, what I do, I go carefully. I apply some cream on the scar. I do such a good job that nobody can notice that scar. Nobody can notice it. So the scar is well covered. Pakka, very well covered, nobody knows. Nobody knows except who? Except me. I use all these cosmetics to cover all these things. But can anybody cover my knowledge of the existence of the scar in my face? Nobody can cover. See, even the knowledge of this scar, nobody can cover. There is a question of Atma being covered by anything. Correct? So periodically they look, they open something up and then they quickly look up. There's a small mirror, I think, there. There must be a mirror, I think, because they are constantly, I go in the bus and all that. I used to go in bus. In India, you don't see all these scenes. Only in America. So open the bus, quickly, just fraction of a second they look. And even office, they'll periodically open it up and look. And then cut and put it inside. So because, am I looking okay? I mean, nothing wrong with that. I don't say it's wrong or anything. But that sense that the rest of the body I can see, am I looking okay or not? I don't need a mirror. But for this part, I need a mirror. So all the covers that I put in the morning, is it still there? That is the check that is being done. So very interesting. All the way we have come up with the language and things like that. They say powder room. It's a very beautiful word. When I read it, when I heard about it for the first time, I used to imagine why they call powder room. Oh, maybe they put powder on their face. I had to assume because I never went to a powder room. So, the mind starts thinking. So, but it's a beautiful word. I like that word. The rest room, beautiful word. So, better word than a bathroom or toilet. And, I'm going to toilet versus I'm going to the restroom. Very sophisticated. So it's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I think we need these words. It's nice. That's the beauty of the human mind also. So because there's certain things we just can't cover physically. I might cover the scar, but the knowledge of the scar is not covered. Therefore, this kosha is as though covering. Just remember that. That's the important part to understand here. Okay. So here, you see the word maya here. Pancha Kosha kaha is being asked. And the answer given is Annamayaha, Pranamayaha, Manomayaha, etc. Mayaha. So we need to understand this Mayaha a little bit. In Sanskrit, there is a suffix called mayat. Mayat. This is called a mayat suffix. Mayat. And the word mayat, the suffix mayat has two meanings. Mayat vikare. Mayat vikare means mayat in the sense of transformation, in the sense of modification. That is one meaning. Mayat vikare. There is another meaning to it. Very different meaning. Mayat prachurye. Prachurye. Prachuryam means saturation, overabundance, an abundance of. So in our language we have this word. When there is a flood, we look outside and we say, Jala mayama irukku. Jala mayama irukku means, boy, wherever I see there is only water. Cars are submerged. You can't see any vehicles. Trees, just looking up, tall trees have become short because submerged. Everything submerged. Street signs are not visible, submerged. So it just looks like an ocean. Jalamayam. So prachurya, you can now understand what prachurya is, correct? Yajna, there is a homa, there is a yajna, where the yajna happening, and they will say Annamaya yajna. Annamaya yajna. What is the meaning of that? Hey, there is a yajna, there is a ritual being conducted, and this Annadanam is happening constantly. People are coming, people are fed. People are coming, eating and going, fed, constant. Annadana. Annadanam is a very big thing in our culture. You will constantly see this happening. Another very interesting, right? They will say, see, suppose you say, I'm going through these problems. And sometimes you get the advice, please do Annadana. You know, that is that prayaschitta karma. Annadanam is a prayaschitta karma in our culture. Prayaschitta karma means a karma that can neutralize some of the papas that are unfolding in my life, so that those things get neutralized, go away, and so recommended. Annadana. In the West, it is not there. The West, you can, charity is there, Annadanam is there, but as a religious karma, it is not there. So, Annamaya yajna means a yajna where there is just food is being given. Anybody can come and eat and go. So, Maya. So, Mayat Prachurye. We are seeing the meaning of Prachurye in the sense of saturation, abundance. Now, here, that is not the meaning. Here, in the Mayat of the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, that saturation is not the meaning. Modification is the meaning. Modification. Annamaya means that which is modified from food, that which is a transformed form of food. Food that has transformed itself and appearing in a particular form is called Annamaya. That is the meaning to look at it. So we just said Maya has two types of meanings, two different types used too differently, and we are sure to understand this in only one way. Vikare, Mayat Vikare. Vikaraha means transformation, change of form, etc. So that is the meaning to be used here. And we will move on to the discussion of Annamaya, Pranamaya, etc. So I will stop the class here now. It's close to 7:30. Om swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahishaah go brahmanebhyah subhamastu nityam lokas samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini desho yam bharahitah brahmana santu nirbhayah om sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayah sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet asato ma satkamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. I think you can stop the recording now.